Baby, if you thought Hollywood was all sparkles and champagne, buckle up. Because the legal meltdown involving Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni, and Wayfair Studios just hit another level of messy. The buzz on the street? Blake's hotshot lawyer literally walked away from her case. No warning, no drawn-out farewell, just I'm done. Seriously, when a lawyer decides to cut ties in the middle of a lawsuit, you know there's drama brewing. Now, if you're itching to find out how this once glamorous actress ended up alone at the legal table, or how Justin Baldoni's team turned the spotlight right back onto her, stick around, sugar. We're about to dissect every hair-raising detail. From those shocking accusations that first sent social media into a frenzy to the behind-the-scenes PR stunts that might have just backfired. This deep dive has everything you didn't know you needed. Grab your tea or your soda, because this story is spilling over. First things first, how on earth did we land in this situation? Originally, Blake Lively set Hollywood tongues wagging when she slapped Justin Baldoni and Wayfair Studios with a lawsuit that read like a primetime drama script. She accused him and various studio executives of subjecting her to everything from disparaging remarks about her appearance to borderline hostility on set. It was the kind of revelation that immediately left fans clutching their pearls, and let me tell you, the tabloids ate it up like candy. For a little while, it looked like the entire entertainment world was siding with Blake. She's got that America's sweetheart vibe, so folks jumped to her defense at lightning speed. Meanwhile, Justin Baldoni found himself in the crosshairs of public suspicion, and Wayfair Studios braced for what seemed like an oncoming tidal wave of bad press. Yet, as you know all too well, Tinseltown thrives on spectacle. Big claims get big attention, but they also demand big evidence. That's where the cracks started forming. People began whispering. Are there actual receipts, though? Because you can't just throw around allegations of misconduct without some kind of backup, especially if you're going toe-to-toe with industry giants. But for a spell, the momentum was all in Blake's favor. Social media was on fire, YouTube commentary channels were ranting and raving, and fans were flooding comment sections with outrage. Only later did the details start to not add up, leading to a significant shift in the story's trajectory. It was around that time that Justin Baldoni and his legal team decided they weren't going to remain silent. They'd keep it classy, yes, but also come prepared. It turned out they were armed with documentation that seemed to counter just about everything Blake had put forth. When those details surfaced, the story pivoted fast, launching us into the fiasco we're unpacking right now. But the real shocker wasn't just the conflicting evidence. Oh no. The biggest twist came when Blake's very own legal eagle took a step back and said, I'm out. Let's talk about that. Enter the saga of Meryl Conant, the once confident attorney who'd initially appeared ready to battle the entire entertainment industry on Blake Lively's behalf. Conant's departure wasn't simply a subtle move out the back door. It caused an earthquake. The rumor mill lit up overnight, with theories swirling that she might have discovered a gaping hole in Blake's allegations. And let me tell you, Hollywood doesn't do mild panic. If a big shot attorney flees that abruptly, everybody gets suspicious. The million-dollar question is, what spooked her enough to bolt? One widely circulated rumor is that Conant got her hands on internal Wayfair documents that didn't just poke holes in Blake's story. They demolished entire sections of it. Another rumor suggests Conant couldn't handle the mounting ethical concerns if the evidence turned out to be flimsy or contradictory. After all, lawyers are taught to represent their clients' best interests, but not at the cost of their own credibility. And consider the optics. If Conant stood by a case that might be unraveling, her own reputation would be on the line. In high-profile legal showdowns, attorneys often become as big a part of the story as their celeb clients. If everything is riding on evidence that's questionable, well, let's just say the next big scandal might have ended up being Conant's tarnished image. Either way, her exit was a wake-up call to the rest of us. Maybe this lawsuit isn't the clear-cut crusade for justice that it initially seemed. With Conant gone, Blake suddenly found herself scrambling to find new legal muscle willing to touch this messy brawl. It's not every day you see a major star left high and dry in the middle of a PR firestorm. So what exactly made that lawyer call it quits? And why do so many insiders say Blake's claims are coming up short? Let's dive into the alleged evidence, or, some say, lack thereof. Let's break down the turning point, evidence or the absence of it. Blake Lively's lawsuit was dramatic from day one, with accusations that read like the ultimate cautionary tale of male-driven intimidation. But all that drama won't float far without some measure of proof. We're talking emails, messages, even an audio clip, something more than "this is what I felt happened." Justin Baldoni and Wayfair Studios, by contrast, reportedly compiled a massive trove of internal documents. Some sources say it's a mind-boggling 170-page dossier with everything from text conversations to behind-the-scenes scheduling notes. That's the kind of thoroughness that can either confirm a story or blow it to bits. In this instance, Baldoni's camp claims it does the latter, effectively dismantles each of Blake's key points. Gossip sites went from treating Blake's words as gospel to suddenly poking holes in her version of events. A wave of skepticism flooded comment sections, where people once wholeheartedly championed Blake's every accusation. Suddenly, the question wasn't, how could this happen to her, but did it even happen at all? Some observers are hinting that Blake's original claims might have been shaped for maximum public sympathy, rather than grounded in facts that could stand up to rigorous cross-examination. Now, is that the truth? Or is that just Justin's PR spin? Possibly both sides are spinning to some degree. But here's the real kicker. Friedman, the attorney representing Baldoni, made it crystal clear that if the case goes to trial, they intend to put each and every piece of documentation under the court's microscope. For fans, this is a roller coaster. You either accept that Blake could have misunderstood or exaggerated certain aspects, or you remain convinced that she's simply a victim who hasn't properly showcased her evidence yet. Time and the judge will tell. Think a shaky set of allegations is all this tale has to offer. Child, we haven't even touched on how one of America's most influential newspapers got roped into the chaos. For a hot minute, the New York Times added a thick layer of legitimacy to Blake's claims. They published a piece that seemed to heavily lean in her favor, presenting the allegations in a way that almost felt like validated fact. In the public eye, that was golden for Blake. If the Times says it, people tend to believe it. But Friedman wasn't having it. He boldly declared that the Times had veered into territory that was more like championing Blake's narrative rather than neutrally reporting on it. Allegedly, the Times gave Baldoni and his team an extremely tight deadline to comment. Some folks say mere hours before the story went live. If that's accurate, it doesn't exactly scream impartial journalism. On top of that, Friedman is challenging the notion that the Times can hide behind the fair report privilege, a legal protection for media outlets covering judicial matters. According to him, they might have lost that shield if they crossed the line from simply reporting to endorsing. In plainer words, if the paper made it sound as though Blake's allegations were indisputable truths, they could be treading precarious ground in a defamation battle. The Times, for its part, claims it was just doing its job, highlighting the matter for the public. Still, Friedman swears they presented a biased snapshot, ignoring or glossing over any contradictory info from Baldoni's side. If a judge takes Friedman's accusation seriously, the Times may need to brace for a bumpy legal ride, especially if it's proven they rushed to print with minimal fact-checking. But while news coverage was one aspect, you better believe there was an entire backstage production, orchestrating how the public saw this fiasco. Welcome to the world of PR warfare. In Hollywood, public perception can make or break a career. So it's no surprise Blake Lively didn't waltz into this alone. According to industry chatter, she hired a top-tier crisis management firm to guide her every move. Think curated social media posts, orchestrated leaks, and influencer collaborations designed to paint her as the courageous underdog battling evil studio forces. The aim: get fans enraged, get YouTube talking, and corner the narrative from day one. For a short time, it appeared to be working. Fans clung to Blake's story. Headlines gave her the moral high ground, and anyone who raised doubts got labeled as insensitive or misinformed. Meanwhile, Justin Baldoni and the Wayfair group tried to counter, but there's only so much you can do when you're behind in the PR race. That said, Friedman's well-timed document reveals changed the game. They shook people's confidence in Blake's version, prompting a wave of wait. Maybe we need to hear the other side, across social platforms. If Friedman's claims are true, the entire carefully crafted PR narrative might have been built on a shaky foundation. Nobody's denying that PR spin is part of the Hollywood handbook. But Friedman suggests Blake's team went the extra mile, orchestrating a smear campaign that verged on defamation. If that's proven in court, it could have huge repercussions not just for Blake, but for any other celeb eyeing the same tactics. After all, if you get caught twisting facts in a public setting, the backlash can be worse than the original scandal. But Friedman's not just pointing fingers at an overeager PR team. He claims there's a network of powerful folks who banded together to topple Baldoni's career. Ready for the real conspiracies? Call it a conspiracy theory or call it cold, hard fact. Friedman believes multiple entities may have collaborated behind the scenes to ensure Justin Baldoni went down. According to him, it wasn't just a few press releases and social media blitzes. It was a well-orchestrated assault, possibly involving certain Hollywood figures, PR intermediaries, and maybe even individuals at the Times. If that's true, it speaks to a level of manipulation that would give any daytime soap a run for its money. This so-called collusion concept hinges on the idea that various parties align to bolster Blake's claims and discredit any attempt by Baldoni's side to defend itself. Imagine hush-hush group chats, off-the-record briefings, and carefully managed blog posts all timed to coincide with fresh allegations. Friedman is implying exactly that, a stealthy, layered plan with a single goal: to smear Baldoni and Wayfair so thoroughly that no one would question Blake's allegations. Now, the big question is whether Friedman can prove it. Because if he unearths solid evidence, emails, recorded calls, or any digital footprints tying these groups together, it would rock Hollywood. Suddenly, it wouldn't just be about one star's questionable claims. It would be about pulling back the curtain on the kind of behind-the-scenes meddling that the public rarely gets to see. People often forget, Tinseltown can be cutthroat. Deals go sour, power shifts happen, and vendettas form. If Friedman's suspicions are right, we're talking about a coordinated takedown on a grand scale. This is the portion of the drama that has most of us on the edge of our seats, waiting to see if Friedman's big reveal is fact or fiction. After all the finger-pointing and allegations, it's only natural that everyone's now gearing up for the final showdown. Prepare for your front row seat to the ultimate Hollywood legal fight. When lines are drawn this sharply, the only place left to settle the dust is in court. Friedman is pushing for the whole matter to be tried under California law, rather than New York's. Why California? Because it offers a broader scope for defamation claims and might yield heftier damages if the allegations are proven bogus. Also, Baldoni's entire career revolves around the Hollywood scene. So Friedman argues the greatest harm is done right there in sunny California. By insisting on a trial, Friedman aims to pull these controversies out of the tabloids and social media into a space where evidence is king. No more rumor, no more spin, just cross-examinations, sworn testimonies, and good old-fashioned fact-checking. If Friedman has as much proof as he claims, a courtroom is the best stage to present it. And if Blake's allegations hold any genuine weight, that'll also be the place for her to show the world. But it's not just about the two of them. The New York Times might find itself under the same legal spotlight. If it's determined that the Times' rushed publication misrepresented claims or aligned too closely with Blake's narrative, the court could very well hold the paper accountable. Lawsuits against major media outlets can be notoriously difficult to win, but Friedman seems convinced he's got a shot, especially if he can expose any questionable editorial decisions. And let's not forget the broader ripple effect. If Friedman scores a big legal victory, that sends a crystal clear message through Hollywood. No matter how famous you are, you can't stage a PR onslaught without having some receipts to back your side of the story. A verdict that awards serious damages could change how quickly studios, newspapers, and even fans jump on a celebrity's claims in the future. Where does this leave Blake Lively? On precarious ground, to say the least. She's lost her original lawyer, faced a barrage of contradictory evidence, and is now watching her credibility waver in the eyes of a once sympathetic public. If she can rally a powerful legal team and produce the proof Friedman insists she's missing, she may still turn this around. But if not, the downfall could be epic, both for her public image and her career. And that's where we stand. Blake Lively's dream team crumbled at the worst possible moment. Justin Baldoni is pushing forward with a mountain of receipts, and we're all bracing for what might be the most memorable Hollywood legal clash in years. Will the court side with Baldoni, revealing that Blake's story was built on half-baked accusations? Or will Blake somehow unearth hidden gems of evidence that make everyone regret doubting her? Whatever happens next, you can bet the final showdown will be a roller coaster, one that might set a massive precedent for how big-name stars and major news outlets handle their dirty laundry. In an industry where image is currency, a tarnished reputation can be devastating. Yet if Friedman's allegations of collusion are correct, we might see more heads rolling than we ever anticipated. Thanks for supporting the Gossip Wire. If you made it this far in the video, make sure to like and subscribe for more of the hottest celebrity news online.